Hey, this is Daryl with Insurance for Entrepreneurs, and this video is how to get general liability insurance in Maryland. I'm going to walk you through a couple different ways to buy it, and if you're going to buy it, the process that you need to go through, and then by the end, you should have an idea on how to buy general liability insurance if you're a Maryland business. Step one is figure out whether you're going to use an independent agent or you're going to buy directly. Let me talk through the pros and cons of each. If you work with an independent agent, the process is probably going to be a little bit slower. Most independent agents not as technologically astute as some of the places that you can buy online, but the advantage of working with an independent agent is they have relationships with a lot of different carriers. They're going to help you approach a broad marketplace. They're going to help you go through the buying process so that you don't have to take on all of that yourself. It's basically the decision you have to make is the equivalent of, are you going to do your own taxes or are you going to hire someone to do your taxes for you? And the factors that you use to make that decision are going to be, how complicated are your taxes? So your step one with how to buy general liability insurance is, are you going to do it yourself or are you going to get somebody else involved to help you do it? So if you're going to do it yourself, step one is you need to assess your needs. And here are a couple factors you need to consider when you're assessing what type of liability insurance you need to buy and how much you need to buy. It starts with what industry you're in. That's going to dictate which companies are interested in insuring your business and where you go and what your risks are and what type of limits you can buy. You're also going to need to think about your location, where you're located. Some jurisdictions are very not friendly to insurance companies, and that impacts what type of insurance programs are available to you. The third thing is you're going to have to look at your contracts and see what's required of you from the people that you're working with, some of the agencies that you're working with, some states, some contractors, some general contractors, landlords. They're going to have stipulations about the kind of insurance that you need. And then lastly, how big are you, right? I mean, how much revenue are you generating? How many employees do you have? This is going to dictate what type of insurance you need and how much you need to buy. The next step, if you're going to go through this process yourself, is you're going to need to research and compare insurance providers. And this is where it gets kind of tricky, is depending on your industry type and the size of operation and where you're located, there are different companies that are going to be good at what you do. Now, if you are a startup organization with limited needs, yeah, you can probably buy online easier, faster, and get an effective policy and streamline everything for yourself. But the moment you get some size to your organization, there start to be a lot of details. It could be this company likes home care providers, but doesn't like them if you're going to provide skilled work, or doesn't like them if you're going to go into an assisted living facility. But this one will do it, but they're only going to offer these coverage terms. And so researching the insurance providers and what they're going to do, that can get complicated, which ties into the next step. You need to get and compare quotes. So once again, when you're small, it's not all that complicated, right? If you're a startup business and you need $1 million of general liability insurance, there's not much to compare. But if you have $1 million of revenue and 15 employees and tools, or 3 different contracts with government agencies that you need to evaluate, it can get complicated. And so you'll need to get multiple quotes to see which are the best offer and be able to understand what they're offering you so that you can make a decision on what is the best one for you. So the next step is choose the right policy and provider. So when you are doing your coverage analysis, that's one thing, but you also want to make sure you're working with a company that's not a fly-by-night operation. You're going to want to make sure that they've got a good reputation in customer service. You're going to want to make sure they're financially strong, because insurance companies go bankrupt sometimes. And when they go bankrupt, that hurts their customers a lot. You're going to want to make sure that there's ease of policy management, because if you need to get certificates of insurance and you can't get them, that's really going to be very frustrating. And you're also going to want to measure their flexibility. Are they going to be able to grow with you? If you're small and you're buying a policy, are they going to be able to grow with you? Or if you're going to be offering multiple kinds of services, are they going to be willing to insure all your services? All of this goes into choosing the insurance provider that you're going to use to insure your business. And the last step is purchase the policy. And I got to tell you, just from sitting in the insurance broker's chair, you would think that once you have a quote and the customer accepts the quote, you're on easy street. And that could not be further from the truth. A lot of times you get a quote and there's 8 stipulations you have to meet before they'll actually bind coverage. It's signed applications, it's paperwork, it's copies of licenses, it's resumes, it's signed no known loss letters. All these things that insurance companies say, yeah, here's what we think it'll cost, but in order to actually put our name out there and promise to pay $1 million if something goes wrong, we need all these things. And if you don't provide those things, they're not going to offer to pay $1 million on your behalf. All right. So that's the process if you're going to go through and buy insurance for yourself. And I think once you hear the process, if you've got a business of any size and any complexity, you can see where there's a lot of value in having an insurance broker that's going to handle that process for you. Going back to the tax example, it's one thing you've got one W-2 and you can go to TurboTax online and do it yourself. That's not all that hard. But when you start getting rental properties and businesses and operating in multiple states, it really helps to have somebody who knows all the rules and nuances and can handle that for you. If this video was helpful, please hit like and subscribe. It helps other people like you find the content. And if you want to learn more about me, my website is insuranceforontrepreneurs.net. As always, go build something great.